Hello friends, it's Bento GT again, and I have another project for you. This time I'm not building anything from scratch. What I'm doing is I'm buying all sorts of pieces and then putting them together. If you can notice from the parts I might have here, I am going to be putting together a gaming computer. And all of them have not arrived yet, but I've decided to start the video in about 6 hours. When UPS finally gets to my house, I'll have the most important pieces for you. But over here you can see I have a micro ATX case. It's a NZXT Vulcan, and I decided to go with this one mainly because it has a handle, and I wanted a small form factor, and this thing looks really cool. I'll open it up for you in a little bit. Right here I have a Corsair K90. This is a mechanical gaming keyboard. Most of its keys are mechanical with Cherry MX Red switches, and that just means that the pressure is going to be very consistent and they're going to actuate very early, which is great for gaming. I always like overkill, and this is one of the better ones out there. Now with every computer you need at least one optical drive, usually, to install things, unless you have an external one. But I just bought a fairly inexpensive DVD burner from Liteon. I bought this off of Newegg. They had the best price on it. $20 with a $5 rebate. Just sent in the card today to get that back. And this is just going to be the optical drive. With any computer you need RAM. And some would say I went a little overkill, and that's just my nature. This is G-Skill Aries. It's a 32 gigabyte 1866 kit. Now, I was originally going to go with a 16 gigabyte kit that was high-end, that had very low CAS latencies. But this one, Newegg had on sale, and it was the same price for 32 gigs, and it was only 1 second slower on the CAS latency, which is just something that confused me altogether. So we have got RAM there. The respective prices essentially is this case, Amazon, got it for 55 bucks. The keyboard was about 120. Again, it's a high-end gaming keyboard, should last forever. The RAM, this was $120, and I could have gone with dirt cheap RAM if I was just doing gaming, but I do some video editing too, so I'm going to try to set up a RAM disk on my computer, and that's why I maxed out the memory. Again, this was 21 with a $5 rebate, so if I do my math right, that's about 16 bucks. And I'm a sucker for deals, and I knew I was going to have to add a couple case fans. Newegg had this Vortex PWM fan for 10 bucks, and I decided to jump on it to see how it does. It's supposed to be very quiet. It has a decibel rating of 17 decibels, and it has 70.5 CFM. It also has a hydrodynamic bearing, which means it's the quietest and longest lasting bearings they make for fans. So I'm going to check this one out. If I like it, I'll buy a couple more at full price. I just didn't want to buy 30 or 4 of these and not like them. So that was another 11 bucks. One of the purchases I made used was off of eBay, and this was one of the more expensive purchases I made. And with any gaming computer you need good graphics cards, and now there's many ranges. You can purchase inexpensive ones that will do the trick, or if you want to play at very high frame rates at high resolutions, you buy a little more. So what I ended up purchasing were used 2 Sapphire 7870 AMD cards, and these are the gigahertz edition. They have a monstrous heatsink. It's great for overclocking, 2 fans, and I actually did end up purchasing more than one of these in one order. And normally these cards new would go for about $280 a piece. I bought both of them for $380 plus $10 shipping. So this should give me more power than a, well, I'd say maybe 20 to 30% more power than a single 7970, which is their flagship card. They do have a 7990, which is a dual-core GPU, but that's $1,000 for a card. So in comparison, I paid less than $400 for these 2 cards, which is going to give me 30% more power than a single 7970 in gaming situations. And these ones, of course, since they're already open boxed, I'll just do their unboxing. And the person sent me a mini DisplayPort to DisplayPort connector, which I don't have a monitor that will run that at the moment. They gave me all of the power link cables in order to power this card. They also gave me one DisplayPort to dual link DVI cable, which will be useful if I want to do 3 monitors that are less expensive. They gave me a long Crossfire bridge, which I won't be able to use on this case because the motherboard is smaller. And then they gave me the standard style Crossfire bridge, and this is to connect these 2 cards and run them in tandem. So that's essentially what I got from these people, and as soon as my parts come in and I show you the rest of the things, I will do a review on those and make sure that these things are working. And hopefully by this afternoon all of my orders will be in and I'll be able to start building this computer and plugging it in and showing you how it works. So I'm going to start with this fan. It comes in a case. It comes with mounting screws, and it also comes with a connector in case you don't have a spot on your board to power this fan. This is a 4-pin, a PWM connected fan, so you can power this through a motherboard or through a fan controller and regulate its speed. It's a really awesome looking fan, and they say, of course, marketing, they say it's going to perform so amazingly well, so I'm looking forward to it. For the DVD drive, I did open some of these before. I actually sent in the rebate already, so I had to cut the UPC off. In the bag for the DVD drive, we have, looks like, some manuals. We have a SATA cable. I'm not sure what it is, but it's most likely just a 3G, a Spec 2 SATA cable. But I'll probably use the ones coming with my motherboard anyway. And then we have various, we have software, we have a software disk, and we have some mounting screws for the rails. And most likely this case will come with some mounting screws for it as well. The DVD drive is pretty much just like any other standard DVD drive. 5¼ inch form factor, place on the back for power and SATA connector, and then the front's black, and this case will be black too, so we'll look at that in just a second. Here we have the RAM DIMMs, and as you can see, they're in a clear plastic box. No surprises here. They pretty much come like this. They have blue aluminum heat spreaders. They're low profile, and that's great. It doesn't really matter to me because at the moment I'm just going to be using the stock CPU cooler, but they look nice. They look like they're in good condition, brand new. And there's 4 of these. Each of them are 8 GB, and they are in a 4-channel kit, which just means they work well together. And for complicated reasons, you don't need any more than 2 dual-channel kits to run on the platform I'll be running. Here we have the gaming keyboard, and I'm very excited about this. This and this just came in the mail, so I haven't opened them yet to look at them. The other ones I did kind of peek ahead of time. I'm sorry about that. So we pull this out, and I can already feel this keyboard is built well. Let's see how they close this up. It comes in a strange formed cardboard basket, very much like those things you do planters in, the synthetic ones. See, nothing down here. And as soon as I can touch it, I can feel the top is aluminum, and that is awesome. I like metal when they use metal in products. You don't see too much of that anymore, but we have the keyboard. We have a nice wrist pad that can be screwed on to the side. Let me drop this over here. It looks like it comes with A quick start guide tells you what to do, what not to do, stop, do not return this product to the store. Well, most of the products do say that these days. And there we have a gorgeous keyboard with a sheathed aluminum cable. I mean, a sheathed USB cable. One of them is for the actual keyboard and one of them is for a USB pass-through right here. But I really like this. It has a good, little more than a 16th inch, a little more than a 16th inch piece of aluminum that runs from here to here. And then this side is plastic, but oh, this is going to be really nice. These keys are extremely light, and this particular keyboard has what's called a 20 key rollover. Most keyboards, if you press more than 3 to 4 or 5 keys at the same time, some of those will never actually make it to your computer. And for most people, that doesn't really make a difference, but for people that play games that have to activate more than one thing at one time, this is a great feature. And also 20 key rollover is amazing. It means that for a gamer, you'll be able to use all 10 fingers all at once, plus your elbows, to get your attacks on. So this is absolutely gorgeous, and I am more impressed from it even after the reviews I heard. I'm very excited to show you guys how it looks when it lights up. And now that I've got these pieces opened, we'll start with the case. I really like this case. I read a lot about it. I like how it looks, and I like its price point. It only cost me 55 bucks, and that is awesome. Found it. Ah, well, I'm glad it comes packed in styrofoam because Amazon had it in a large box with the keyboard, and they were not very tightly packed in there, so I'm very happy that companies choose to pack their items well so that it can make it through shipping. Voila! The NZXT Vulcan, and I'm gonna have to open this up to show you how it works. Newegg also has a nice unboxing of this, I believe. They have thumb screws on the back, which is very nice. I don't have to use a screwdriver for opening up this side panel. But if you can notice, this is a mesh grill, and it has mesh up top. It has some back here. Even the places where the slots are is mesh, and this is mesh, this is mesh. These actually have filters in them, and this is mesh with a filter, and there's a fan behind here. So for airflow in a small case, this is one of the best ones, I believe. I'm certain someone can tell me otherwise, but I'm really impressed by this. There we go. We have the side panel, which can take a 200mm fan. I decided to wait on that, save a little money here and there and waste a lot later. And inside we have, I'm glad that they did tighten things down with zip ties. I believe this is most likely the handle. Yep, we have a handle, and while it's plastic, and I was concerned about this, it does seem sturdy, and it has a rubberized finish on this handle, which will go right here so that you can carry the case around. It's great if you go to a gaming area, a gaming store like I do, where you can actually take your computer, hook up to their fast network, and play tournaments and play games. Came with screws for that. Down here we have a box which has the drive rails. So when I install the optical drive in a little bit, I'll be using these. Looks like they attach and just slide in. I don't even think there's screws. We have some more oversized thumb screws for adding in the graphics cards later. Some smaller thumb screws. We have looks like perhaps motherboard offsets. I believe that's what these are. We have larger screws. Again, I don't know what these are for necessarily, and these just look like standard case screws. So we have 4 rails, so for the 2 drives up here, and then we have a nice large, now this I like. It tells you exactly how this case fits together in beautiful diagrams in the same way on the back. More of that. This is great. I like taking things apart, and it's nice to know how to do it so that you don't break it in the process. Ooh, anything else? Now, I'm not the most knowledgeable person when it comes to what plugs in where. Luckily, these connectors are fairly self-explanatory when you have its mate to go along with it. But back here we have all sorts of various things that look like they range from fans to USB headers to audio to reset switch on-offs. And again, I'm not going to try to convince you that I know what in the world it is, but there we have that. And I'm going to grab that camera to give you a closer look in just a little bit as soon as I open up this side panel. This is the case. All of the sides are open. Up here we have USB 2.0 ports. We have an eSATA and a headphone microphone power reset button. In the front we have 2 fan controls, which they seem well constructed. We have those drive bays that are actually vents as well. And then if we walk around to the back, we can see the cable access, this area where you can place a bracket for your heatsink. That's what this extra space is for. And the indentation, the extrusions on the sides give you more room. Up here we have one pre-installed fan that will have an orange LED. We have another 120mm fan up front, I believe. I hope it's 120mm so I can place it up there. And then we have our cables going down. And in the back, as you can see, we have 2 ports for water cooling, which I am planning on using eventually. This button is supposed to turn that LED on or off. And we have our covers, which will not be used because I'll be using all 4 of those slots with those 2 graphics cards. And of course a power supply unit. And one thing I am fairly happy about is that if we turn this thing on its side, on the bottom here we have a dust filter for our power supply, which you can clean out. It's probably one of the more important parts to keep dust free so it doesn't overheat, burn out, and cause problems for your motherboard. And then we have more intake for air down here and also along the side of the case.